Good morning, Gulf of America man people. Jason here, reporting live Gulf side with the world famous Skyway Bridge and Cut A channel behind me. Today, we're talking the engine replacement cost on a used Silverado. Quick backstory on this truck. I picked this bad boy up for like 10,000 bucks, tax tag, title, all that stuff. It was just a little under 13, got me out the door. I was like, sweet. It was 2024, it was a 2015, it was only 9 years old. The only reason I really snapped on it because the body and the frame are super straight. There's no rust or nothing. So I thought to myself, hey, one day if I got to replace the motor, you know what, at least the body is worth it. But I never thought that day would come. Yeah, that day came, man, only about 5 months after owning the truck. And what's worse, the motor actually blew when I was evacuating for Hurricane Milton. And that was after I lost my house in Hurricane Helene. So the truck motor blowing 200 miles away from town in the middle of like a statewide disaster, it was pretty rough. So needless to say, it took me about 5 or 6 months to get everything sorted out and get this thing back on the road. But this is the kind of thing you can get tangled in buying these used trucks. So I really don't think they're honestly worth more than 10,000 bucks. It's a shame that they're priced where they are. And maybe it will make sense to you at the end of this video, particularly probably with the new truck market, because I'm pretty sure most of these are made in Mexico. So it might be worth it. But let's run through some of the common failure kind of points of this truck, and we'll get into the cost. These engines are supposed to be like super BA and all that, like people put them in race cars and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy, I guess, to zip them up and down the track. Mine had 185K on the Cliz when she blew, and I really don't think it's that much. This was a work truck. It's kind of real basic. I'm gonna do another video kind of touring the whole thing if you're interested in getting one of these. I think it's a great truck because it's kind of stripped down, and even in 2015 there's some pretty good creature comforts for a truck, and it's just very robust. It's got some real stiff vinyl seats, and it's got the rubber floors. It's a really good utility truck. But under the hood, she's got some secrets. Just to make it clear, this is a 2015 Silverado 2500 HD. It comes with that 6.0 liter gas engine. That's right, turbos are for diesel, boys. Sorry about your EcoBoost. I love me a 5.0.
But anywho,
this motor is in a lot of vehicles between 2010, 2019. All of the big old like utility vans, conversion vans, little bitty baby short buses, campers, a lot of things have this motor. And one of the things that kind of drew me to the work truck that had this motor was it doesn't have the active cylinder displacement management, active fuel management. It doesn't have any of that, where typically a lot of the problems come in like those like the 5.3s and the 6.2s and some of the other engines that Chevy has out there that are also pieces of junk as well. So I figured I wouldn't have to worry about that, but apparently the valve train and the lifters are pretty much the same because it does have the variable valve timing and all that. So lifters are probably one of the most common failure points on these. They're not going to get oiled right. It's not going to return oil to the sump. The oil's going to get all hot. It's going to wear out your cam. And then everything is just whack. Your idle sucks. So if that's what you got going on, if this thing's jittering all over the place, it's probably something like that. Another failure point, I'm pretty sure this is what happened to me, is the oil pump is a piece of garbage. It's driven by a plastic gear. Pretty sure that's exactly what happened to mine. I was zipping down the interstate, hit the road nice and early, about 2 days before storm made landfall. It's like 4 a.m. Now it's like 5:36 a.m. We're cruising along the highway, and I look down and I'm like, my oil pressure looks a little low. It looks like only like around like 30, and I'm going like 85 miles an hour. It wasn't long after that, I heard like a little tick, 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 and it was there, and then the power started to reduce. And then about 20 miles later, up in Wildwood, Florida, up where the villages are, shout out villages if there's any old tinkerers out there. But yeah, came down to a stop, traffic, sounded like a diesel. So needless to say, bolted right to Enterprise and got us a nice Expo. I definitely love that Expo. I busted on those EcoBoosters, but that big old Expedition is a dope ride. It's kind of funny, like I really at that point could have not have gotten in another GM product, but we needed a full-size SUV because everything we owned was in the back of it. So besides those two big like heavy hitters that take most of these fellas out the game, you do have timing chain stretch, which is going to screw up the cam as well, and all the phasing, especially with the variable timing, with the interference engine. You know, you get the pistons and the valves clapping, so that's not good. Also, I guess excessive oil consumption is an issue with some of these because of the valve cover design. And then exhaust manifold failure, cracking from really heavy heat cycles, from people just towing big old loads. This thing's rated for like 14,000 pounds, so it can tow for a gas car. And it's another reason why I got it. Maybe you should look into it if you want to tow something. All right, so we just got done covering everything that possibly could have went wrong. Let's talk about how we can make it right. And it's gonna cost a lot of money. A used long block for one of these bad boys is gonna run you anywhere between $2,500 and $4,000. And that's most likely before you even get it freighted. All right, mommy likes them long. What's a long block? Well, a long block is an engine that comes with the rotating assembly and the heads, but it's most likely not gonna come with the intake manifold, your fuel injectors, coil packs, exhaust manifolds. It might come with those, but it's not gonna come with a lot of the things. So you're gonna have to transfer them from one engine to the other. And with most shops getting you for 120 to 140 an hour, that's like a lot of money to just move things that are old from one engine to another, especially if the engine below it's old. So you can find these used engines that just come with everything on them, which is great, because if your car's got 185 and you get an engine out of a car that only has 80,000 miles, then all the other stuff on the engine only has 80,000 miles as well. So when you're shopping for a motor, go by miles, not age. A lower mile motor that's a little bit older is better than a newer one, because it's all based on wear, guys. These things wear out. They only have so many turns. Yeah, so that labor, 120, 140, 160 an hour, it adds up quick. And most shops quote anywhere between 18 and 26 hours for a job on this truck. I took it to quite a few shops and I got quotes from rural guys, city guys, big shops, little shops, and they all came in at around the same, about $2,800 to $3,500 to put a motor in this truck, just the labor. Of course, that does include some other things like some fluids and stuff like that, but still, guys, it's a lot of work to throw a motor in one of these. That being said about the labor, it's like, do you want to keep playing the used Chevy Lotto? You already bought a used truck with a used motor, and it lets you down and it's costing you more money. So now you kind of got to like amortize that over a longer amount of time to really make it worth it. These aren't old school G-body Chevys. These things got a lot going on and they're expensive to work on. I didn't want to do it anymore. I just went with a remanned L96 long block. I can't remember exactly what it cost. Stay to the end of the video. I am going to put the invoice on there so you can kind of see the line breakdown, and I'll leave a link in the description below to the company that makes the engines. Apparently they're made in Mexico and come across the border in Texas from the same plant that makes the factories. But with the labor being almost as much or more than the cost of a used engine, I just couldn't stomach having any issues. Plus, with the used ones, you had to buy warranties, 6 month, 1 year, 2 years for an extra $600 to $2,000. Where this, it already came with a 4-year warranty, and I am super happy with it. I originally only planned on having this truck for maybe 2 years max. A lot of you saw the video of me putting that wheel bearing in, and then there was a slew of other issues that happened as well. So yeah, now I'm into it pretty deep, and I was thinking about selling it, but the value in the truck really isn't that much. I mean, now they are kind of going up, and it put me in a spot where I really had to think about what I was gonna do. Because after I fixed it, I was gonna try and sell it, and I listed it for 25K just to see what happened, and I got a lot of people hitting me because really it's 20K for one of these trucks that has 180,000 miles on it. That's a ticking time bomb. So my advice to you isn't to necessarily steer clear from one of these trucks, but do your due diligence and do not overpay, guys. Unfortunately, these trucks are mostly garbage now. They're kind of over complicated and under-engineered. This one is a little bit more robust. It's a work truck. That's why I got it. And who knows what happened? Maybe someone did long oil change intervals. Maybe it got abused. Maybe it was a factory defect. A lot of class action lawsuits that are happening now with GM. And, or maybe 185 is all you can get out of one of these. I guess I'm gonna have to ride this thing till it dies. I'll probably be giving it to my grandkids at this point. So, tune in, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and follow the journey. Also, funny thing, I replaced the tranny in this before the motor broke, so be sure to check out that video here.